Hello, and welcome to Oracle Hour. My name is Sabrina Rising. I am the Oracle. I'm a spiritual teacher and a psychic medium, and I'm honored to channel spirit on your behalf. Thank you for joining me live. I love having everybody here with me on Wednesdays and Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific. I can see we have Miss Makaya. Hello, Vicky, Shiloh. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, everybody. It's good to be with you all. Hi. I saw you pop up on screen. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Rhonda. Okay, so we are streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. So if you have any questions, if you're watching on a platform other than YouTube, then come and join us on YouTube at Sabrina Rising and put your question in the chat. We answer questions on a first come, first serve basis. Of course, if you are a paying member, first year member, you get priority in the chat. So something to consider as you stay for the entire broadcast. I cannot say this enough. Stay for the whole show because the messages that come through are for all of us. Even if you don't get your question answered, even if I don't have a chance to interact with you, sometimes we get inundated, flooded with questions, which is always beautiful. The messages that come through are for you. So really listen for whatever it is that you might be struggling with, whatever it is that you're going through in your life. Tonight, we have a very special topic, as we do at every Oracle Hour. I usually start off the show with a teaching, 10 to 15 minutes. I talk about a specific topic, and the questions, the readings usually flow from that topic. So we always bring reference back to that particular topic. So start to listen for whatever it is that you came here with, whatever's on your heart, whatever you want to ask the Oracle. No question is off limits. It can be a question about your relationship, your personal life, your career, as some kind of conflict that you're having in your life. The idea here is to bring whatever is in the unseen realm into the forefront so that we can deal with it directly and honestly with love and compassion for ourselves and others. Of course, we're here to choose whatever serves our highest and best good. This choice is always presented to you, and you have the free will available to you to make that choice. Okay, of course, this is always my guidance as I connect you to your higher self. And here's the thing. As you're receiving guidance in tonight's show, I want you to really trust that the information that's coming through is on some level, your soul already knows this. Okay. So we all have the capacity to be the oracle of our own lives. For those of you that haven't seen it yet, we have a live going tomorrow, is scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. I will be talking about becoming the oracle. This is the path to the oracle, learning how to develop ourselves to come out of fear so we can develop our intuition and start to listen to our own inner knowing and trust our gifts and then claim our power. So that is a discussion we're going to be having tomorrow morning. If for those of you that want to explore the oracle path, we'll put the link here at the end of this video as well. Okay. So for tonight, really just listen for whatever you might be struggling with, and know that that you may not always get the answer that you're looking for, the answer that you're attached to or that you're hoping for, but you'll always get the guidance that you need to help you deal with whatever it is that you're struggling with. This is what I'm committed to. Okay. So I want to talk about, for tonight, listening to spirit in times of uncertainty. Okay. So how spirit gets louder during times of uncertainty. And this might seem counterintuitive. Like, it's when things are chaotic in your life, it feels like it might feel like spirit has abandoned you, or there is no clarity around what you should do, or there is no seeming light at the end of the tunnel. You might feel really bogged down and really stuck and even more confused about what the best course of action is to take. Okay. So, and this is so important because, when you look at what's happening in our collective, whether you're looking at, our economic situation or our political situation, which is very heated right now, you look at the chaos that's happening, in our society, in other countries, in the collective at large. I firmly believe that our higher selves are sort of calling in this shake up so that we can have a recalibration and reconfiguration of our beliefs, our values, and the structures that we put in place in order to function in a way that's harmonious. Okay. And I fundamentally believe this. Human beings are designed to harmonize with their environment. And so when we're out of harmony with our in nature, our innate selves, we will create disharmony in the environment. And when the disharmony in the environment becomes out of control, the chaos is way too much, there is kind of like a shakedown that happens that forces us to go inward. Okay. Spirit doesn't like to compete with chaos. So spirit will actually wait until you've created some kind of inner stillness and you've unplugged from the chaos of your life. You stop trying to figure things out with your mind. You take a deep breath and you pause. You stop doing whatever it is you're doing. You stop trying to fix things or figure out things or grapple for answers or try to, ask all your friends what you should do. You just kind of stop and go inwards. And then in this point of inner stillness and the willingness to really hear, there is the opportunity for surrender. I actually believe that chaos is the catalyst for surrender. Okay, so it's and when you look at your life, perhaps you look at the opportunities for growth and expansion, the moments when you had real breakthroughs or real revelations. It's so poignant. We usually have some kind of bottom or some kind of major upheaval or huge ordeal or something massive happens in our lives, and that point of whatever that situation is will render us feeling powerless. We don't have the capacity to intellectualize our way out of this one or to figure out the best strategy or to find a solution that is within the reach of our 3D human capabilities. So at this point, we have no choice but to surrender. Okay. And that's why, we talk about this all the time, especially in spiritual communities that deal with addiction and, those feelings of powerlessness in general. When we hit bottom, we find that we can surrender. We can surrender fully and wholeheartedly because we have reached a point of understanding that we have no control, that the answer does not lie in our intellectual capacity or the strategies that we've implemented before. The answer is not in the past, but it's actually coming from spirit. It's coming from our higher selves. It's coming from intuition. And the only way to really listen to our intuition is to open our hearts and be willing to hear the voice of our own inner guidance. Okay, so spirit gets louder in times of chaos, but it doesn't compete with chaos. So it's important that if you're feeling chaos or uncertainty in your life, and again, everything reflects everything. So everybody is feeling a certain level of disruption in the way that they do things because of what's happening on a collective. Like I said, look at the government, look at the economy, look at what's happening, in your immediate environment, in your society, and even in your neighborhood. So this level of unrest that we are observing in this current time in our evolution is a perfect mirror for the inner chaos that you might be experiencing in terms of what should I do? What shouldn't I do? What's going on? What's best for me? What serves my highest and best good? So notice where you are and how the environment that you're in is reflecting the environment that lives inside of you. Okay, everything always reflects everything. So our insides always match our outsides, said plainly. And it's our job during this time of uncertainty to really trust that the answers lie within. They never lie without. They never, of course, as a psychic and a medium, I provide answers and guidance all the time. This is my mission on the planet. It's my job to do that. And the guidance is never coming from me. It's not coming from some abstract place. It's not coming from some entity that's not, connected to you. Source consciousness is not separate from who you are. It's actually part of who you are. But when we're feeling like we're confused and in a chaotic place and feeling uncertain, we don't have access, right? It's kind of like the signal is fuzzy and you can't get a clear understanding of what's being said to you or what guidance you're receiving or what is the next best course of action for you, because when we're feeling chaotic, we're feeling ungrounded, we're feeling unsettled, we're feeling in pain, and most likely we're feeling afraid on a deep core level. Any type of unrest is usually related to some fear. Okay, as I mentioned, I talk about fear all the time because fear is the thing that's blocking us from hearing source consciousness, from being able to lean into our intuition, from being able to expand our hearts and trust the unknown, to trust that even in times of uncertainty, when I don't have access to the answer, when I don't feel safe in my environment, when I don't know what the right path is to take, I'm able to unplug from that chaos and lean into my own inner stillness, my own inner landscape, and cultivate that relationship with spirit and trust that the guidance will come. Even if I don't hear it in this moment, even if I don't hear it today, I might hear it tomorrow, but I keep leaning into that relationship with spirit so that I can finally hear what serves my highest and best good. What action is there to take? Sometimes the right answer is no action. Sometimes the right answer is to simply pause until it becomes clear. When we have a relationship with our higher selves, with the self that lives outside of three-dimensional reality, we're able to really trust that even if we don't know exactly what to do in this moment, that the messages will come, the guidance will come. The spirit communicates with us in so many different ways, through symbols, through events, situations. Perhaps we're getting visions, or we're hearing messages in our meditations, or we're receiving visions in our dreams. Spirit likes to communicate in our dreams as well. So, be open to the signs. And when you're not feeling like you know what you should be doing, the last thing that's really productive is to get yourself worked up in a panic, to feel unsettled and ungrounded. If this is you, and this is so many of us, and I say this with love and respect, if you're in survival mode, some of the concepts that I'm teaching here can feel inaccessible. They can feel a little abstract and not very helpful. Okay, so if you're in survival mode, the best thing that you can do, if you're really panicked and in fear, the best thing you can do is ground yourself. Okay, so put your feet in the grass, get in touch with nature, go outside, do something that's very accessible to you right here, right now. Go through your five senses. Where, what do I see? What do I feel? What can I hear? What can I touch? What can I taste? Just to ground yourself. Engage in your deep diaphragmatic breathing. All of these resources are free, and there are things you can do immediately. Okay, so it's very important to ground when we're in a panic, when we're feeling like there's too much chaos going on. And the grounding will allow you to become present, will allow you to land in your body, to feel safe in the present moment. And when you start to feel safe in the present moment, guess what happens? Our intuition starts to come online. We start to have a sense of something that's beyond our intellectual understanding. We start to transcend the intellect and feel into the realm of our own intuition. And this is where the clarity starts to come in. And when you develop this practice and you do it on a regular basis, it becomes easier and easier to stay rooted and anchored in the truth of who you are. Okay, there is no such thing as your truth and my truth and this truth and that truth. There's only one truth. Okay, so if there's 20 different versions of the truth, there's no actual truth. There's only one truth, and that truth is that you are whole, perfect, and complete expression of God, of source consciousness, embodying this physical vessel that is you in this current incarnation. And you have the capacity to connect with that spirit within you, to connect with source consciousness, and to live by the guidance that you're receiving from source consciousness in your daily, day-to-day activities. As a human being, you can be connected to spirit, connected to source through signs and symbols and dreams and your own spiritual practice, and developing your own intuitive guidance. Okay, so again, when in times of uncertainty, we have no choice but to become self-governing. We have no choice but to develop personal sovereignty. Otherwise, we're always changing our minds. We're trying different strategies. We're doing this and hoping this works out, and we're doing that and hoping that works out. This is no way to live. This is not conducive to human wellness. It just creates more anxiety, and it creates more uncertainty, and we feel more and more contracted in our bodies. And of course, the longer we live this way, the more likely we are to develop physical dis-ease. Okay, so, and if you're already in a physically compromised state, if you're already in that diseased state, you can actually reverse engineer this and work backwards and start to develop a relationship with your higher self. When I say higher self and I say spirit, these two terms are interchangeable for me. Okay, so source consciousness is always what we're talking about. Okay, and source communicates through the spirit realm. It communicates through your dreams. It communicates through your higher self, and it's accessible to you when you develop your own ability to lean into yourself, to quiet the mind. You're never going to completely eliminate your thinking process. It's impossible to do that in 3D. Your mind will always roll on and on and on and on. And your job is to develop equanimity, to notice those thoughts as they come in without identifying with them, just letting them rise and fall, and connecting to the sensation of the breath as you tune into your own inner peace. Okay, that inner peace is your superpower. We all have access to it. It's the essence of who you are. And once you tune into it, you can feel grounded no matter what's happening around you. And you have access to spirit in those moments of uncertainty and the clarity that you so deeply, deeply desire. Okay, so I hope this was helpful as far as what to do in times of uncertainty and developing that relationship with spirit and allowing the chaos to be really a catalyst for surrender. Okay, surrender is the key that opens doors to higher states of consciousness. Surrender and willingness together really open up those states of higher consciousness where we can see beyond our current issue, beyond our current set of problems. We can actually see the divine unfolding. We can see the bigger purpose of why this is happening. We can see the gift in the pain, or the opportunity in the chaos, or the revelation in what it is that I've been trying to figure out with my mind, why this is so perfect for me at this time. Okay, and I really wish this context for everybody, like in all of your, whatever it is that you're struggling with, or whatever it is that you want help with, and so on. I hope tonight gives you some perspective in terms of what you're going through. Is, first of all, it's not personal to you, but it's something that your higher self has co-created with you to help you grow and learn and develop yourself into your fullest potential, into a more liberated, more loving, more evolved version of yourself. Okay, so this is always true, regardless of the pain that you're dealing with, regardless of the suffering. The opportunity is always for growth and expansion. And it's such an empowering context. Okay, when you're going through something tough, always ask yourself, what is this serving me? How is this helping me grow? How is this helping me come to terms with what I really deeply desire in my life? How is this part of what I'm calling in? If you're manifesting something big in your life or something better in your life, and you realize that all of a sudden things start feeling more complicated or more difficult, it's because you're being asked to develop that part of yourself that needs to be prepared for the thing that you're calling in, right? So most of us are just not ready, or we don't have the capacity to hold the frequency for what we want to manifest. And so we have to develop certain parts of ourselves. We have to sort of clean a house, whether that's literally meaning cleaning your house, or just cleaning up space, room in your mind and in your heart, and in your presence, to receive the very thing that you're calling in. Okay, so again, trusting spirit in times of chaos is the surest way to create a life, or to make choices that will help you navigate this life in the best way, in the way that serves your highest and best good, in the way that's actually going to guarantee your fulfillment. Okay, that's my message for you tonight. Thanks for watching, everybody. Okay, hi everybody. Hi Patty. Hi Tina. Patty's here. Patty says hi everyone. Hi Bo. Aw. I don't know what's happening here. I lost my screen. Okay. Okay, we have Diane is my moderator tonight. Everybody say hi to Diane. Let's welcome her. She's doing such a great job. All right, Diane, let's take the first question. Hi, Shiloh. Shiloh says, hi, Sabrina and community. It's been a ride. It's been a ride. Will I be successful? Also, apartment, old, number one, no longer listed. Is it rented? Did I make a mistake? Will love companion find me? Or do they have regrets? Anyone? Okay, so this is a lot of questions in one. So Shiloh, I ask you, just for the purpose of clarity, to put in one at a time, okay? Because this is like, there's too much going on here in this question, and all of it is rooted in fear. So every single one of your questions is coming through like doubt and uncertainty. Okay. So and I just say that with love and respect, because I know that you have a practice to ground you, and you have a practice that will allow you to really tune into your own inner knowing, which is what we're talking about. We're talking about leaning into spirit in times of uncertainty. Okay. So that opening message was 100% for you. Of course, it's 100% for anybody watching, myself included. So let's tackle this one at a time. Okay. Here's what I want to say to you. I'm not even going to read your question. I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to say that it's important for you to stop pushing so hard and to stop trying so hard. I know that there are some challenges in your environment, in your new environment, which is not it kind of comes with the territory, is what I want to say, with the job that you're in. Okay. So you have the capacity to navigate these challenges at work. Feels like these difficult personalities, with grace and compassion. A lot of this is you learning to stand up for yourself and setting healthy boundaries and making sure that you are remaining professional and not getting overly emotional at work. Okay. So that's the first thing I want to say. I feel like you are successful. So it's not like, will I be successful? I am successful. You are successful at what you're doing. And it feels like you're doing a good job. It actually feels like you're doing better than anyone else has in this role. You just need to give yourself time and really trust yourself. Okay. So again, Spirit's asking you to really trust yourself here. I like the apartment is, I think, is something you need to let go of. I don't feel like there's any connection to this anymore. It's not even in your energy field. So it's either been rented or it's not your problem. It's just feels like it's been taken off your plate, which is really good. This is beautiful. It's not something for you to be concerned about. I really just want you to focus inward and focus on making sure you're getting your needs met. I don't feel like you've made a mistake. You know how I feel about this question. There's no wrong choice. There's only the choice about there's choice A, which is going to have its own set of lessons and opportunities for growth and learning, and then there's choice B, which will have its other set of lessons. And so, there's no such thing as a mistake. I think you're in the right place. I think you moved into the right apartment. You moved into the whole change was exactly where you needed to be. And here's what I want to say too. There is a part of you that hasn't fully, like a part of your belief system that hasn't fully embodied the success that you're having, the way that things have unfolded. Yes, offers have said but yes, others have said that. Okay, the boss is not good enough. I got thrown off balance. See comment about dream. I don't know what she's talking about. Is there a comment about a dream, Diane? Let's see. I don't know about the comment about the dream, Shiloh, but if you have a specific question about a dream, just put it in the chat. Okay, so here's what I want to say to you. So I want to say that the relationship with your boss will get easier. I think that you came in and he started to pile stuff on you and started to just kind of like, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that. It feels like there's a lot of responsibility being placed on you. I feel like this is going to settle. Okay. It will taper off. You're good at managing his expectations. You're becoming better at managing his expectations. And I feel like this is your work to do, is to really just make sure that you stay professional and not take on all of his stress and all of his drama. Okay. Like I said, the old apartment is off. It's off your plate. So there's nothing for you to be concerned about here. There really isn't, an issue. Hold on a second. Let me see here. The old question. Also, will companion find me? Do they have regrets? Anyone? I don't know who anyone is that has regrets, but companion is not going to find you. This is the wrong way to look at this. Okay. So the way that you want to look at this is, am I in a place? And again, this is the best question to ask spirit in times of uncertainty, is not what's going to happen, but it's what actions do I need to take to align with the thing that I deeply desire? This is the right question. Okay. So the right question is, what actions do I need to take to be ready? Am I ready to manifest someone in my life, a companion in my life? What actions here, Shiloh says, I had a beautiful dream. I was in this gorgeous wedding dress talking with a man, but his face wasn't revealed. Beautiful. I love this dream. This is a good dream. You're obviously spending time thinking about manifesting a partner, which is why you're having this dream. I think it's beautifully aligned. Everything reflects everything, as I mentioned earlier. So this is a way that spirit communicates with us, is in our dreams. The fact that you don't see his face yet it means that you don't know who this person is, that you're not meant to know at this time. Okay. Doesn't even need to mean that it's a stranger. It just needs to mean that you're not meant to know who it is at this time. Okay. So I want you to take a deep breath and trust that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, doing the job that you're supposed to be doing right now, focusing on building your career, focusing on establishing yourself in this new place of work, focusing on spending some time in your new place and just kind of getting your bearings and feeling comfortable there and landing. It feels like you haven't fully landed yet. So Spirit wants you to land in this place. I don't miss what I left behind at all. Okay, good, beautiful. So you're right, exactly where you're supposed to be. So there's no regrets and there's no mistakes. It's just a matter of, now the next phase. And again, it's like you just moved and you just got this job and you just started working. It's like, oh, am I going to find a partner? Like, Spirit wants you to take a deep breath and slow down and just trust that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And when the time for companionship is not yet, it's not soon. It's not like, it doesn't feel like it's even during the winter months. It feels like it's going to be a little bit further down the road as you take the actions that you need to take in order to really embody the feeling of what it means to be in love. Okay. This is important for you and for everybody watching. One moment, please. I'll be right back. All right. All right, here we are. So again, it's about you embodying the identity of someone who is in love. What does it feel like to be in love? And there's been so much self doubt and so much concern about survival that you haven't really had the space or the bandwidth to really practice the idea of being in love with yourself. So I feel like you're still at this phase of like restoring your level of self confidence, and restoring your level of self love before you can really manifest this relationship. It feels like this is going to take some practice. Shiloh says, I asked the man the question because of the dream. I know it's not time. I'm too busy. Yeah. Okay, good. I feel that. I'm glad you feel that because I certainly feel that in your energy and definitely in the way your questions are coming through tonight. So, um, I want you to just, like I said, Spirit wants you to slow down, take a deep breath, and just trust that you're exactly where you need to be and spend some time really embodying where you are, like acknowledging yourself for how far you've come and the steps you've taken and the success that you're having. Give yourself permission to develop some confidence and to get grounded in where you're at right now. I have such high stress that my body literally is in an ugly, itchy rash from the neck down. Yeah. So again, slow down, do your diaphragmatic breathing, relax. You're taking this, like there's such a fear that you're either going to get fired or that this is going to get taken away from you somehow, or you're going to mess up everything. Okay. Because this is a trauma response to stress. So, again, developing confidence and embodying where you are and acknowledging yourself for how far you come and just trusting that you can do this job and that all will be well. You have to do that first before we find a relationship. You can't manifest a partner in this state. Okay. At least not a healthy one. Okay. So it's not time yet. Okay. That's my message for you tonight, Shiloh. Okay. Thank you for joining us. I'm happy that you're here. And just, again, go back and watch the beginning of this broadcast. Really pay attention to what to do in times of uncertainty. Shiloh says, yes, I do. You are right. Okay, good. I'm glad this was helpful. Go back and watch the beginning and see, like, what can I, how can I lean into spirit during this time of uncertainty? How can I really anchor myself in my practice and trust my own intuitive guidance and stay grounded and centered in the truth? The truth is not that you're going to be abandoned and stuck and rudderless. That's not true for anybody. Okay. The truth for all of us is that we're safe, supported, and provided for. So the more we align ourselves with that truth, even if there's no evidence of that, the more you align yourself with that truth, the evidence will come. Okay. That's how I want to answer that question. Okay, beautiful. Hi, Vicky. Vicky says, hello, Sabrina. I know you mentioned a possible change at the end of the year with my job. Do you and Spirit I mean, Spirit and I are not separate. See it as my return to going back into the office in November or something else. Okay. So I just want to address the way that you framed that question. Okay. So, I would be remiss if, I'm a spiritual guide as much as I'm a medium and a psychic. So, um, spirit and I are not separate. Spirit's not separate from you. Okay. So, and if you really sit with it, you'll see it too. You are going back into your job, you're returning to your job, and there is a different position within this organization. So it's not a different company. It feels more like a change in within the organization. Um, yeah, it's your my return to going back to the office in November or so it's you're going back into the office that you came from, but there's a different role or a different yeah, there's some kind of different responsibilities that you're taking on. Okay, maybe a reconfiguration. It feels like a big company, very big company. So it can be a different department that you're going into, but there's going to be a change in the work that you do. I want to say, Vicky, also what's really coming through in this is that there's going to be a nice feeling of welcome back when you go back too. So there is like a soft landing. It feels like there's been a lot of support for you when you go back. This work is not particularly fulfilling for you, but it's safe and it's providing you the support that you need at this time. Right now, your soul really needs to feel grounded and an ease back into the workplace, a sort of safe transition back into going to work every day. This is sort of the perfect transition for you as you do more, the deeper work at some point to really kind of get clearer on what it is that you're truly passionate about. Okay. I feels like this is, you don't love it, but there's so many needs that it meets right now that it's hard to walk away from it. Okay. And that's okay to be in this place. All right. So I think it's actually good for you to not have too much stress, especially for your body and your immune system, to not have too much stress and just to kind of be grateful for the opportunity to go back into this job. This is how I want to focus on gratitude right now. Focus on gratitude, focus on like the feeling of being welcomed back into the fold and the blessings that's going to create for you, because it feels like there's, like I said, the job for you is changing and it's going to be a good thing. Okay. That's my message for you tonight. Okay. Who's next? Hi, Amy. Amy, I think it's Amy. Yeah, I can't see the type is so small. Amy says, "Hi, Sabrina. Can you ask my guides what they see for my marriage? My husband's name is James. We've been separated and want to see if reconciliation and restoration will happen for us." Okay, so here's how I want to frame this question. Reconciliation and restoration does not happen without your participation, or it's not going to happen for you. It's going to happen when you find the willingness to make amends, to make peace with what happened. It feels like there's been a lot of ups and downs and some, of course, that's natural if you're contemplating separation. But it feels like there's been some volatility too and some betrayal. Okay. So, there's a lot of pain here in this relationship or in the history of this relationship. So, um, yeah, here's what I'm going to say. I feel like both of you want to get back together. Like there's a willingness to, like you still love each other. The love is still there, but you don't trust each other. And so the deeper issue is the trust. The deeper issue is really reestablishing that. Okay. So love is not enough. This is how I want to answer this question. It just isn't. It's not enough to love somebody. You have to be able to really develop trust, rebuild trust, and put those structures in place to say, like, I'm willing to, to do the work that's required in order for us to heal. I feel like, um, yeah, I feel like he's sort of willing and then not willing, like committed to doing the work and then not committed to doing the work. Like I almost hear James saying like it's not supposed to be this hard or it's not supposed to be this difficult. Okay. So I think it's going to take quite a bit of conversation and just honesty with each other. I believe the two of you can restore this if you're willing to do the work. I just think it's going to take James a lot longer to come around and commit to this process. Okay. So, my best advice for you right now is to give this some space, to stay separated, and to just continue to hold the intention of reconciliation if that's what you deeply desire. And to come forward with your own, um, whatever it is you're offering. Like, I'm willing to take responsibility for this. I'm willing to take responsibility for this thing that happened, and so on. Like I said, it feels like there's some betrayal here. Okay. So, you need to recover from that. There's been trauma in this relationship. So, I would say that, you can say, like, this is where I'm at and this is what I want, and have it be clear, and then let go of your attachment and give him the space to really mull it over. Be very clear on your boundaries and your requirements and the things that you want to work on. Otherwise, you end up right back here. Okay. It feels very combustible, this relationship, because he's living with another woman and I want him to leave her. Okay, there's the betrayal. Right? This is not shocking to me. So, no, this is not a healthy situation. Like, you want him to leave the woman that he's living with in order for you to reconcile. I mean, this is not a realistic, it's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for you to be pining after someone who's already moved on, or is already, living in another situation, right? So, like I said, he's not fully willing to do the work. And so, there has to be a mutual coming together. Okay. And a willingness to heal this betrayal that has happened. I feel like this other woman's been around before. So again, if I were you in your shoes, I would really make peace with this person, James, and just, bless and release him, and work on developing your own self-love, your own self-esteem, and raising your standard for love. I talk about this almost regularly, raising your standard for love, so that you can not desire to be with someone who would be in this situation with you, who would, like, who isn't meeting you where you want to be met. This is not reciprocal. Okay. So that's my guidance for you tonight. Of course, I send you so much compassion and empathy. It's very hard to be, in sort of attached to someone who doesn't want the same thing that you do, and to have to let go. But the grieving process and the letting go process is going to show you exactly where you haven't been loving yourself. And it will present to you an opportunity, as I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, whenever we're going through something difficult or tense, or, through hardship. Look at it as, like, what is this teaching me about myself? How is this situation helping me improve the relationship I have with myself? Bring more love into my life, bring more trust into my life, bring more spirit into my life. Okay. This is your time to develop a spiritual practice and to learn how to love yourself more, so you can let this go. Because like I said, if you tried to reconcile with him now, considering the situation he's in, he's only going to go back to that. Okay. That's how I want to answer this question. That's my advice for you tonight. Okay. All my love to you. Okay. Who is next? I love how you're all saying hi to each other. Okay. Hi, Patty. Good to see you. Patty says, I frequently dream about former jobs with mostly unpleasant memories. I thought I had moved on. Does this mean I haven't resolved the bad experience? This is an interesting question. So tonight we talked about how the external chaos is an invitation to kind of surrender and go inward, and really develop our own relationship with spirit and learn how to trust our intuition. Okay. So the other thing, what I want to say too about external chaos, is what happens in the external realm when there is a lot of chaos. We're not processing a lot of what we need to process on a conscious level. So your dreams might stop during times of chaos. If now you're feeling more settled, it feels like, Patty, you're more settled in your work, you're going to start dreaming again. The subconscious mind says, okay, it's safe now. There's less going on the outside realm. I can bring forward some of these unresolved issues, so that we can process them. Okay. So yes, I want to say that because there's been so much to focus in on the external realm, you haven't fully processed some of the situations that happened in your previous job, and that's okay. The fact that you're dreaming about them is actually a good sign. It means that your nervous system is settled and relaxed enough to feel like you have the capacity now to really process what's happening. Okay. And those unpleasant memories are there to be released. Again, this is happening so that you can really trust that you're in a safe place to ground and to set new boundaries and to establish new parameters for what you will allow and not allow in your life, and including the work environment. Okay. So when bad things happen to us, traumatic things happen to us, whether it's at work or in a relationship or in any situation, and we don't fully, we find a way out of the situation so that we can remove ourselves from the threat. Eventually we're going to have to process how the threat impacted us. And that's what's happening for you now. Okay. I've always internalized unpleasant feelings. Yeah, you're not alone. There's 3 different ways that human beings process emotions. Okay. So we repress and suppress, we express, and then we escape. Okay. So repress and suppress is I repress the things I don't want to feel. I suppress the things that are so big that I can't even begin to process them. Like when there's a big trauma. I express is when I'm just like kind of lashing out and unleashing and just no filter. I'm not being conscious of just allowing all my emotions to fly out of me. And I escape. I use, whatever, alcohol, drugs, shopping, any type of addictive behavior, even avoidant behavior, to deal with my emotions. Okay. So there's 3 different ways we do that. So, and all human beings do a combination of all 3. The fact that you're aware that you internalize unpleasant feelings is important. And now you can reframe that belief by saying, I'm someone who processes her feelings in a healthy and constructive way. So reframe that, because the more you declare that to be true, what you just said, the more you're creating that for yourself. Okay. So reframe that. And I want you to tell yourself, it's safe for me to feel the full range of my emotions. It's safe for me to process my feelings consciously and intentionally so I can resolve these unpleasant issues. The fact that you're dreaming this is good news, because it means that you feel safe enough. Your higher self is saying, it's time for you to process this. Okay. The external realm has calmed down. It's settled. You're safe enough to process the deeper stuff. Okay. And you might find that this is true for everybody. Like if you're in a situation where things are calm and settled and you feel safe and everything's smooth, all of a sudden some deeper unresolved stuff from childhood or whatever starts to surface itself, because you have the capacity to process more unresolved issues. Okay. So that's all that's happening. Okay. So it's good for you to journal and just talk about your feelings and be present with your feelings, and, meet your feelings with love and compassion and bless them and allow them to teach you something about what you need going forward, how you're going to get your needs met going forward. And that is the point of these messages in your dreams. Okay. That's how I want to answer that. Good. Hi, Anka. I see you. Beautiful. Okay. How's it going, Diane? Who's next? Hi, Elizabeth. Elizabeth says, hi, Sabrina. Do you have any reading or recommendations for me today? Let's see, Elizabeth. Welcome to Oracle Hour. Okay, so I feel like, when I tune into your energy, I feel like, yeah, I mean, it's dealing with uncertainty. So it's really kind of on point with the theme tonight. My message for you is to focus on your inner peace and inner calm and learning to manage your anxiety. So staying out of the mind and really focusing on grounding your body and creating a sense of peace and calm. Okay. The recommendation is really around your physical health. It actually feels more physical than mental and emotional, even though the physical symptoms always start with our thinking process and our unresolved feelings. I want you to, like I talked about, sort of noticing the physical symptoms earlier and bringing ourselves back into the present moment. So just trusting that your body has the capacity to heal whatever it's going through right now, and really listening for the messages, the messages that the emotions are giving you. You know, the emotions that you're feeling are information about where to what's unresolved in your life, is how I want to say it. Okay. So um yeah, I really feel like you need to stop focusing outward and just trust and leaning into your own inner guidance and giving yourself permission to feel like there's something you're avoiding, like you're avoiding feeling it, you're avoiding giving yourself the space to really process your uncomfortable feelings. You're hoping for something to change on the outside, but you're not willing to feel it on the inside, and it won't change on the outside unless you feel it on the inside, unless you address it internally. It actually feels like it's more to do, there is a connection to a family member as well, like something in your relationship with a family member that needs to change, that needs to shift, that needs to be talked about, needs to be brought into the open. Okay. This is similar to what we were talking about with Patty around like dealing with the unresolved issues. Like something needs to come to the surface now and for you to deal with, so that you can relax in your body, and it will actually open up your energy. And you'll start to feel like you have more energy once you resolve this. Okay. So this is, I'll let you fill in the gaps unless you're validating for me here. There is, again, a conversation, a transparent dialogue that needs to happen with a family member that will allow you to really feel the full range of your emotions, have some deeper sense of peace. You're going to feel like there's something's been lifted from you, and you'll feel like you have a bit more energy. Okay. So again, focusing on the information of your emotions and allowing those to guide you. Okay. And connecting with that family member, whoever that is, that's coming through in your reading. Okay, Elizabeth, I hope that's helpful, and come back and let us know how that unfolds for you. Good. Hi, Tina. Hi, Melinda. I see you too. Oh, good. I'm so glad you joined us. Okay, good. Tina says, hi, Sabrina. My question is, will I meet my life mate in this lifetime? Thank you. Oh, I love this question. Okay. So again, the question is not never what will happen. The question is always, what actions can I take? What do I need to do? What do I need to develop within myself to bring this closer to me, to a reality? There's no reason why you can't have whatever it is that you deeply desire. This is true for you, Tina. It's true for everybody. So I always like to answer these questions in two ways. I'll give you my spiritual guidance and my psychic hit. My psychic hit is that, it's not yet. Like it feels like there's some possibilities around you, but there is more. There's something within you that you need to untangle before there's really space for this in your life. Either it's like you making room for this person, or really creating the willingness to be vulnerable, to open up your heart, to fully trust, to let someone into your life. So there's some inner work here, okay, that needs to happen in order for you to have. Sorry, I'm just getting distracted by validations. Tina says what? Tina says yes. Okay, good. So, oh, we've got Elizabeth here. Yes, you're right. Okay, good. Beautiful. It's always good to know when the readings land for you. So, okay, so Tina, the psychic hit is that it's not time yet, because there's some things you need to untangle for yourself, make some room. There's a couple of people in the way too. I don't know how else to articulate this. It feels like there is, either feels like another female relationship, something like that, that you need to untangle to make space for sorry, to make space for this person in your life. I apologize. I'm laughing because my dog's in the room. So again, making space and creating the right environment, both internally and externally, so that you can manifest this person into your life. Okay. and it feels like there's a deep longing for this connection, which is, beautiful. But it's not, I don't want you to come at this from a place of lack, like you're incomplete without a life mate. What we want to create is this embodied experience of feeling like we're in love, like we're deeply in love with self. um yeah, the relationship with this female feels like a sister, or like a roommate, or like someone that she keeps kind of coming through your reading. So either there's something in this relationship with this other female that is either in the way of, or something that you need to resolve. She says, yes, true. Okay, good. So, we don't have to go into details. This is YouTube live. So, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay. So you have to make space for this. Okay. So that you can actually create the readiness. We have to be ready both internally, externally, for the opportunity to present itself, and the opportunity will manifest itself to you. I feel like you're a lovely person. I feel like you've got a lot to offer. I actually feel like you have a spiritual practice, like you are tuned into spirit. You're an empathic person. Tina, I feel like you have you're someone who looks for signs and symbols, like you're tuned into this work, like this isn't new information. Or this realm of spirituality isn't new to you. Okay, so I feel like you've been a seeker for a really long time. So welcome to the Oracle Hour community. And I feel like you there's somewhere in your psyche where you feel disempowered, or you feel like you don't have what it takes, or you're not enough, or you're not good enough to be able to create the thing that you deeply desire in your life. And this is blocking you. Tina says, yes. Okay, good. Thank you for validating. This is really what's blocking you from having what you want. It's not just about the life mate. It's about fulfillment. Can I manifest a life that feels deeply fulfilling to me? And it's hard to do that when your self-esteem is not in a good place. Okay, so and your self-confidence is not in a good place. This is similar to a reading I gave someone else at the beginning of the show. So I want you to do this inner work and make space in your life for more love for self, more falling in love with self. As you fall in love with self, you start to magnetize love in your environment, whether it's like-minded people, deep and meaningful relationships with like-minded people, friends, that will eventually turn into, I have a very clear psychic hit, by the way, as I'm channeling for you, Tina. I feel like this is a guy that likes to hike. I don't know why I'm saying this. Like, it feels like you like to hike, or you like to go on hikes, or you like to climb, or something like that. And it feels like this is an athletic, outdoorsy person that you're going to meet. And it's through doing this type of activity, or outdoor activity, or outing, that you're going to encounter someone who likes doing what you do. Okay. This is so important. I really believe this to be true for actually everybody, as I'm saying it for Tina. We find the people that we're supposed to be with, like that we're meant to be with, that are in alignment with our deepest desires, because there's no supposed to be. It's just whatever feels aligned, in whatever version of yourself you're in, while we're doing something that we really love, that really brings us joy, that we really would love to share with another person. Okay, so I want to say that to you as well. But in the meantime, you've got to make room internally, and you've got to untangle this relationship with this female energy that I'm feeling, so that you can take your power back and start to practice more self-love and self-care. Okay, that's my reading for you tonight, Tina. Okay, Tina says thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Hi, Tracy Joe. Good to see you. Just saying hello and sending love and blessings to you and yours. Aw, thank you. Right back at you. I love you. Thank you for saying hi. Bo Bowker, this is my beloved. Don't forget to like, if you indeed do like the video. Yes, please don't forget to like and subscribe, everybody. We're at 5:55 now. We have time for one more question. Who do we have next? Diane, you're in charge of the chat. You're doing great. Okay. 3 bot. That's how I'm going to say that. Handle. Sabrina, if you have time, I would like to ask, is the past person coming in or new soulmate? Thank you. Okay. Yes, I have time for you. 3 bot. Welcome to Oracle community. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay. No, new person. This is so you have to let this go. Again, untangling. This is the third time I use this word in the broadcast tonight. So I want you to untangle whatever is left. Like here's what I want to say. You're attached to this person who is sort of non-committal, in and out, who hasn't, it's more of the idea of what could have been with that past person than the actual relationship that you had. It's time you've actually evolved and you've grown. And your needs have changed too. So there's a different level of emotional maturity that you're embodying that's not going to suit that past relationship anymore. That past relationship feels like it came in, it served you lessons, it showed you where you needed to grow, where you needed better boundaries. And it's time for you to sort of make peace with it, bless and release. Just like I gave the reading to Amy, this is not what you're looking for, and trying to fix something that is not really going to meet your needs, and not because the person doesn't have the capacity, but because that person just isn't willing to meet you there. Okay. And I think that person has demonstrated this more than once. Okay. So I'm being guided to tell you to make peace with this, to really see it from the lens of what is this teaching me about myself, my relationship to self, how I need to love myself. How is this going to help me grow? What is this teaching me about what I don't want, which is so important. It's as important to know what you don't want as that it is to know what you do want. So just trusting that process that you've been in and clearing a deck and creating space for something new to come into your life. Okay. So again, relationships are containers for growth and expansion. Everyone who comes into our life, whether it's for a short time or a long time, is there to teach us something. Okay. They're here to serve our evolutionary process. So rather than looking at this, and this is very human, it's very 3D to look at relationships as, is this the one, or what happened with that one, or why couldn't it have worked out with this one? Or, we attach ourselves to humans and we think that this is supposed to be our whole story. But what I empower everybody to do is to love freely, to let yourself be loved freely, and to see what that experience brings up in you. All the places where you're not loving yourself, all the places where you can work on loving yourself more, all the places where you don't have peace, all the places where you're wounded. Of course, I'm saying the same thing over and over again in different ways. Okay, so allow that the experience of the relationship to be a mirror for your inner work, and then you can appreciate the experience of that relationship for the lessons that it has served you, rather than getting attached and feeling heartbroken when things are no longer, or when the two of you are just have sort of evolved out of each other's orbit. Sometimes relationships serve their purpose and that's it. It's not meant to be forever. Okay. So and for those of us that have done so much inner work and so much we have so much awareness around what our needs are and how to manifest the love that we deeply desire, we can attract the soulmate relationship, which is a companion for life. Again, not to be attached to the amount of time that we spend with someone, but it's really about the mirror. Can we attract that mirror for the love that we're looking for? And the actions that we need to take to do that are always point back to personal responsibility, to how can I love myself more? How can I fall deeper in love with myself? How can I relate to myself with more unconditional love and self-compassion? Okay. And of course, this is my wish for you and for all beings everywhere. All my love to you guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Elizabeth says, thank you. Beautiful. Good to see you all. Thank you, Diane, for moderating. I appreciate you. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Diane, for reminding me. I almost always forget. For those of you who want to join the channel, join our community. For $50 a month, you get access to mediumship circles. You get access to psychic gallery events. You get access to exclusive content, guided meditations that are ad-free. So join our community. There's the link to do that. What else do we have here? We also have the Oracle Pathway. The Oracle Path is a program that I launched. It's this week. It starts in November. It's got 3 phases to it. The first phase is all about inner child work and coming out of fear and deconditioning. The second phase is about developing our own intuitive gifts and psychic abilities. We all have them, and even if it's just for personal practice. And the third phase is really about claiming your power. How are you going to express yourself in this life for deep fulfillment and lasting inner inner peace. I love this program. It is a passion project of mine. I have created this sort of as I distilled from all the different offerings that I have into a very clear and succinct pathway for you to become the oracle of your own life. Okay. I love being the oracle for you. And I also love empowering you to lean into your own intuition and have access to the answers to your own questions. Okay. And what we also have for you tonight is the link to book readings. So let's put that up next, Diane. For those of you who want to come and jump in a one-on-one with me, if you didn't get your question answered, or if you want to do a deeper dive and get some clarity around some questions that you might have about a relationship or a career path and so on, there's the link to book a channeled session with me. And I look forward to holding space for you. Okay. I will see you all tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. For those who want to join the Oracle Path, we will do live Q&A. I might do some readings. We'll see how the spirit moves me. But come and join me tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Otherwise, I will see you for Sunday night's Oracle at 5 p.m. Pacific. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Good night.